How do I move on from doing something awful with someone at a party? What can I do to become a better person after doing something awful? I had an experience recently I feel terrible about. I met a guy at a party, we had sex, and then he told me he was in a long-term relationship. I was high and drunk and I started to cry. I was then going to leave, but I sat down for a second and I was still feeling quite aroused. So I looked at him and was like, I want to do it again. And he said, are you sure? You just got really emotional. And I said, I'm over that now. So I got on top of him and started kissing him and grinding my crotch against his until he got hard and he joined in. And then halfway through, I got really annoyed again and got off him. I lay next to him and we started talking about his family, and he kept going on about how he felt really guilty because I made him feel bad for cheating on his partner. To which I responded, good, you should feel bad. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I felt so sorry and bad for him because he seemed to be so sad and unhappy. Anyways, he was going to go to sleep and I was still horny, so I got on top of him again and started kissing him. This time he said, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. And I said, not yet. So I continued kissing him, his mouth, his face, sucking on his ear, and he wasn't joining in. At some point, he must have gotten dressed because when he wasn't joining in, I put my hand down his pants and started touching him. He said, I'm too tired, I don't have the energy for this. And I was like, I don't care. At this point, I saw a little bit of sense and stopped. I said, is this rapey? And he said, no, it feels so good, but it's wrong. So I continued kissing and touching him. After a little while of that, he said, I'm really going to sleep now. So I made him spoon me. Once he spooned me, I turned around, kissed him, and put his hand on my ass, and he started joining in again. We had sex again. I don't know who that person was that took over. A part of me was so angry with him for using me for sex, and another part of me really enjoyed the sex. I am such a terrible person for doing this. I felt disgusted and ashamed with myself, and still do. How do I move on from this? How do I become a better person?